Hi, Sue. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, and yourself, Laura.
Look, I'm on a buzz right now. Like we've just come off this lovely little conversation, and I just think that you are going to be tackling COVID from quite a beautiful space. I
Yeah.
mentioned to you earlier, you're looking all angelic with your beautiful background and you've got the light
Yeah.
shining nicely on you. So I think that you've set the scene so beautifully for this video. I don't know if you're
But
willing to do it.
then I'll straighten the halo again.
Straight and tailor. Yeah, exactly, because
Yeah.
it was a little bit off, but that's okay. So what I'm hoping is that you could just give us a bit of a background as to who you are so that the viewers know um, a little bit about where you're coming from,
Yeah.
perhaps where you live as well, and then we're going to just get started.
Okay, awesome.
Mm.
So my name is Sue Waits. I am currently in Cape Town, South Africa. I retired in 2006.
Wait a minute. Wait, hang on.
And her little family
Sorry,
immigrated.
Sue, can I
No worries.
interrupt you really quickly? Sorry.
Yeah.
Just to explain, Sue, being where she is, has got a few internet buffering issues. So it may be a little bit off, but we're just going to just bear through it. Okay, so sorry, Sue, you said that you retired in 2016.
I retired in 2016 and I'm in the fortunate position to be able to travel. My daughter immigrated to the United States back then as well. And we'll talk a little bit more about my 2016 tumultuous year of change. Um, but I'm very privileged to be able to spend 6 months of the year in the US and 6 months of the year here and pretty much live my dream, so to speak, as a newly retired contributor to the human race.
I
So
like that.
that's who I am. Mm.
I like that.
Yeah.
And this is definitely contributing to the human race right now. I do believe that it's in its seedling stage, and
Yeah.
it's growing, and it's through people like yourself, Sue, who are coming up and sharing the stories and putting themselves out there
Yeah.
to communicate about what's going on right now. That is just going to help connect people. We
Yeah.
spoke about earlier when you were saying that you were so glad that you weren't stuck in the United States, but now you're stuck in the Western Cape.
Yeah.
So how's
Yeah.
that for you?
So I think there isn't anyone in South Africa that won't tell you how scary this is right now. Last night, our president made what I think was an extremely difficult decision to actually put us into full-blown lockdown. He has declared a state of emergency. He has deployed the military, so it's really scary. I think the last time we saw things like this was back in the apartheid era. So it's very new to many of us.
Mm.
The military are about ensuring adherence to the new norm of lockdown and obviously to keep calm. Um, it means, and I said this to you earlier, it means that from Thursday we go into 21 days of you will remain in your house. Only certain people are allowed to leave. So that is your first responders and people that are essential to the distribution of food and foodstuffs. Other than that, people are ordered to remain in their homes for the next 21 days. So we have literally got 2 days to ensure that we can survive for the next 21 days.
Wow.
Being stuck for me is, I kind of am sad because I can't be with my daughter and my grandchildren who are also in self-imposed isolation in the States. And I think they're going to be going into lockdown pretty soon themselves. But the point is that, my words were, I wish I'd been stuck there, but I find myself stuck here. And stuck is I think it's a state of mind. I think one will first feel stuck because I did feel stuck. But when I really think about it, the universe has placed me here for a purpose and for a reason. I've learned that over these last 4 years, that there is nothing that happens without design. So it is important to find the purpose of why you're here. I happen to have a room in my sister's home here in Cape Town, because I live between the two countries. And if I wasn't here, she'd be on her own in her house. And, if anything, it's about being part of your family at a time like this. So it's important for us to look for those little things that this next 21 days are going to allow us to do. Yeah.
Yeah. I love your take on it, because I remember back in my younger days, I used to really feel like I felt stuck because I wasn't on my path. I wasn't on my right path. There was something that didn't feel good about where I was. And granted, it took me a lot of years, because I'm only getting there now. But I remember one time I was in traffic and I hadn't identified anything about what I was going through. I hadn't really tapped into the emotions. I hadn't kind of gone, let me go inside, because it's much easier. It just looks like you're frozen.
Yeah.
Are you there?
Okay, I am.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, just took a little sleep, did you? Just a doze, and then
No, I'll nod my head so you can see I'm moving.
Yeah, okay, yeah, keep moving. But I remember that I was driving in traffic one day. I was going over the Harbour Bridge, and it was taking me forever. And I was so frustrated. And I just remember almost like yelling in the car while I was gripping my steering wheel, I feel so stuck.
Yes.
And I kind of, and it hit home in that moment, at whatever age I was, that the traffic around me was purely representing what it was that I was feeling in my life, and I wasn't tapping into it. And so I needed the traffic, I needed the frustration and the anger and all these other things that I was feeling. I needed that to trigger my brain and my heart and my soul and whatever it is to go, I think I'm not just stuck in traffic, but I think I'm stuck in the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Potentially at a time like this, we're going to have a bunch of people who are going to be going, I feel stuck too.
Yes. Yes. And it's amazing when your comfort zone is invaded, because we're creatures of habit, to use the analogy of the car. You drive to work, to and from your home every day to work. And I bet if you really paid attention, you'd realize that if you drove a stick shift or a manual car, as we call it here in South Africa, and not an automatic car, you'd be changing gears without thinking. You would actually drive a route that you'd suddenly go from, oh, that was quick. I kind of just arrived at work.
Yeah.
And that is about being mindful of what is going on around you. And it takes something catastrophic to help people pay attention. For me, in 2016, it was retiring. It was retiring on the back of probably the worst year in my 30-year career ever. It was a year where my child decided to immigrate to the USA. It was a year that I sold my home and liquidated all my absences and chose to actually be fluid, universally fluid, until I could find my new norm. And I still haven't found it. I'm 4 years later, I'm still fluid. But I've done an amazing things. I've grown at a personal level. So when one feels stuff, it's about being mindful of what is that thing that the universe is asking you to pay attention to. And it could be a number of things. It could be just one thing. But know that it's about discovering your new you, your higher self, who you are, and your purpose, ultimately.
I quite like that when you say discovering your new norm, because we go through life, a lot of us go through life quite blindly. Like you say, you don't notice that you've even driven to work and you're there and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't even remember driving, right?
Yes.
But that is so indicative of how so many of us actually live our life, how we are in our relationships, how we are with our friendships, how we are as parents, how we are as children, how we are when we go and participate in an activity that should be lots of fun. We're just doing it because we're there doing it, or we're going out for drinks with friends or exercising at
Yeah.
the gym. How many people, I, I don't know about yourself, but if I go to the gym, I made a conscious decision to not have my phone with me because I
Yes.
took a look around one day. Everybody is on their phone, sitting on the machine that I want to get to. And eventually I'm like, what are you doing? Are you just like texting everybody on your contact list? Like, it's time to get off the leg press. I want to get on there now. How many are you going to be long? And
Yeah.
actually asking them, and they go, oh, sorry, just one more set. But you lose time, right? And that is the one thing that we've got right now. You guys are going to have 21 days. We've got 4 weeks, so we've
Yeah.
got just a little bit longer. It starts
Yeah.
tomorrow night for sure for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's just a case of, what do we do with our time now? And you
Yeah.
spoke about, that when you had your 2016, your tumultuous year, and 4 years later, here we've got another one, except this time it's global. You mentioned that it's not so much about defining yourself by your job or your career, because I can only imagine that there is a lot of potential unemployment rate that's going to be happening in South Africa right now. But it's more about finding new ways to seek your purpose, right? To
Yeah.
find what is our reason for being here. It
Yeah.
isn't necessarily only just to be born, to work, to die, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And South Africa, I mean, you come from South Africa, so
Mm.
the real tragedy that we have is that we have already we sit with an economy that is fragile.
Mm.
Already we're sitting with probably one of the highest unemployment rates in the world.
Mm.
Majority of our population are underprivileged. Majority of our population live in townships that have a communal tap. They don't have running water in their house.
Mm.
They have a communal tap. They don't have a loo in their house. They have communal porta potties that they go to.
Mm.
And we are sitting here going, oh, self-isolate, when in a shack, two families are sharing a single room. We're now asking them to lock down for 21 days. That is why this decision is so difficult here. This is a society where majority of the population are either HIV positive or have TB, but in one way or another have a compromised immune system. Those who are unemployed, our crime rates are so high. So, one would think, oh, deploying the army is a bit harsh, but actually it's the only way to keep calm. So what do we do? What can we do when we are now locked down and faced our new norm? If you're privileged like I am, where I live in a very nice house, I share it with my sister, I have space, I can find my new self, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But then there are families that have children, and children, want to bust out when they become sort of claustrophobic and confined. My daughter is sharing, because she's a graphic designer, she has been creating children's activities and starting to share those, coloring and teaching them to trace. And there are lots of things that we as parents can do to reconnect with our kids at a practical level and create fun out of what would otherwise be an extremely difficult time. Now is not the time to be sitting connected to your device, disappearing from your children's lives, not hearing them, never mind listening, not even hearing them. In the townships, most South Africans have a device, and you have a similar problem there, irrelevant of but the sense of community is something that we can really learn from. They always care for each other. They say that in a community, in a township, one doesn't go hungry. They either all go hungry or they all get fed because they share. And I think this is the lesson to the human race. We have isolated ourselves. You know, like you say, you go to the gym. Well, have you ever walked into a lift, Laura, and watch people? You walk in and you've got a choice. You can walk in and do what they do. Don't say a word, turn around, look at the numbers that are going up at the top of the lift. Or, like I used to love doing, is walk into the lift and say, "Good morning. How are you doing today?"
Everyone would
And
be like,
get uncomfortable, like where did this letter arrived from, you know? I think that this situation we find ourselves in is an opportunity for us to rethink how we are as human beings, to rethink how we connect. We're going to be deprived of hugging each other. We're going to be deprived of being able to, other than those in our immediate family, like you and your daughter, or like myself and my sister. But I dropped off some supplies to my aunt, who's just moved into a retirement home that is in isolation because of the age of the people there. And I could so desperately wanted to hug me, and we weren't able to, until people feel that they're not going to understand the true value of the lesson we as a human race need to learn out of what is happening and going on around us at the moment. My grandson was on FaceTime last night, and thank heavens for technology, and he was crying, he was upset. He said to me, "My Nan, I need you to come here. I can't hold you and hug you on FaceTime." And even this little 9-year-old feels that way, you know? So I really think this is an opportunity. And you know, when I meditate every day, I kind of put it out to the universe to open people's eyes to the wonderful opportunity we've got facing us here to just reconnect with ourselves, our higher selves, and change how we connect with society as a whole.
I do love that, you know, and I think that while we don't want to be stuck, you mentioned earlier about we don't want to be stuck on our devices all the time. The way that we are actually, if we can think about it in another way, is to use these devices to connect with other people, as opposed to disconnect from the people who are in our immediate surroundings, right?
Exactly.
So using technology like this forum, for example, where we're spreading the words about how it is for you on another totally, you know, different country, but experiencing exactly the same thing that we are. We now have something that's common between our two countries. And isn't that powerful, you know? We don't have a war that's pulling us apart and making us all hate each other.
I honestly think, and I think we've been through that as a society, because you just have to watch, you know, I went through it myself. Oh, the Chinese. Oh, they are doing this deliberately. You go through this conspiracy theory, negative thinking. And in actual fact, when you silence yourself and you listen to the real spiritual message here, we are all part of a human race. I believe that the earth needs to breathe. She's held her breath and she's breathing out. And, you know, there's a message for us in that we need to rethink the way we have created our world around us. Borders, families split, you know, the whole concept of xenophobia, and xenophobia presents itself in many forms. You know, just the mere fact. I mean, somebody turned around and said, no, the virus, who was it? I think it was either Bill Gates or someone on one of the TED things that I spoke about. The virus that doesn't have a passport. It doesn't have a passport. It knows no borders. And that's what's unified us here. This is an unseen war. It's nothing like World War I or World War II. I believe it's an unseen war, and that is very scary.
Exactly. Because you can't see when it's coming.
Exactly. And when it's arrived, you don't know it. And when you find it out, you're already in it.
Yes.
How amazing a lesson is that about trying to describe to someone what being present means. When you arrive in your present state, you're in it. It's very difficult to see it. You will know it when you feel it.
I
It's that analogy, yeah.
That is amazing. I love how you put that, you know, and I think when we're in the situation, right, the only thing that we've got is being present, because we
Yes.
don't know what tomorrow's going to be like. What
Exactly.
if we were to suddenly now start tomorrow exhibiting signs that we've been, affected by COVID, right? We don't know. But if we have been in the moment and we have been doing everything that we can, and we've been connecting with our family, and we've been loving our animals, and we've been eating healthy, and we've been communicating like this, and we've been sharing stories across the globe so that everybody can see that we're all in the same boat, we're all on the same planet. And if we don't actually do something different, something is going to go happen again. You know, if we don't learn from this right now, something worse than COVID is going to come, because we need the shake-up. We need this big, massive thing. And I think, you know, you're talking about the unseen war. That is exactly what this is. You know, if we take side blame, if we just go, let's not even blame anybody, because blame is a negative emotion. What is it that we can learn from this? How we with this? How can we find out more about ourselves and our purpose in life, and why we are here, and why we are part of this, and how can we do better?
Yes.
Because we're wanting to. Sorry.
Yeah, Laura, you know, I've got to be honest. I mean, the journey that I've been on to try and be present. I was listening to, I think it was Deepak Chopra, who turned around and said, being in the now is the only place you can be. It's your only reality, being in the now, here and now. You and I talking, this is our reality.
Absolutely.
Anything in the future is not real, because it hasn't happened yet.
Exactly.
And anything in the past is not present anymore. You can't change it. You need to let it go. But what is important is, what is your lessons learned? Because how you can change your now is by drawing on your lessons of the past, so that you can give effect to a future that makes everybody's here and now potentially better than the current here and now. So, you know, for me, if we can help, if you, through a platform like this, can help and guide people to sharing their fears, because fear is also a negative emotion. If you sit down and think, you know, I watched I've seen people go and become completely overwhelmed. I've watched my daughter get overwhelmed, because all of this comes from fear. And when you breathe and stop yourself, actually say to yourself, stop, we're okay. You're okay. Right now, you are okay. Right now, you can control, you can be what you need to be right now. Your decisions you make right now are the ones that will impact on your next moment, your next present state. So right now is so important. And I think it's really important that people give some serious thought to what they can do right now for themselves. You know, it's almost like being on an airplane and the oxygen masks fall down. You know, you need to grab the mask and put it over you, before you can turn and help other people. You actually need to be able to breathe yourself. So so one of the things that one can do when you lock down is to feed yourself first, feed yourself spiritually. Yeah.
Love that. I'm writing that down. Feed yourself first.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful opportunity now to actually become in touch with who it is and what it is that we're connecting with that's greater than ourselves. You know, it doesn't matter who it is, but if we're able to, or what it is, sorry, if we're able to connect with something that is outside of ourselves, it allows us the possibility to believe that we're being looked after, that we're being cared for, that we're being guided through this process, and that we are all here because we are meant to do something with it.
Yes. And we're all connected.
Exactly.
Every one of us are connected. you know, and I think that this is showing us that that virus, whilst one, you know, doesn't wish a virus on anyone,
Yeah.
it has leveled the playing field. It does not matter how much money you have, how privileged you are. If you are susceptible to this virus, it doesn't choose its host based on your political standpoint, your religious standpoint, your ethnic makeup, your DNA. It simply chooses you because you happen to have walked past someone. How your body responds to that will depend on how compromised your immune system is. And obviously, people who are older have a more compromised immune system, and those who are sick. So there is no, we're all equal in the eyes of this unseen enemy, if you like, you know, we're all equal. And that's very sobering, because I think that we've lost sight of the fact that at a spiritual level, at a being level, we all one and we're connected.
Sue, you buffered.
Buffer.
We've all lost sight of the fact that we are all one and we are all connected.
All connected. Yes.
Perfect. I like that. Just before we wrap up, we spoke a little bit earlier about the things that were really were getting under your skin about some of the things on social media, and you had some advice that you wanted to give around looking at social media and possibly the fake news that looks so real. I wondered if you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah. So it was in response to a question you asked me, is, you know, so am I angry about this? Has things made me angry? And I think that all of us are going through we're facing immense change in our lives right now, and just a change that is being orchestrated by this virus. I mean, many of us are facing change in any case, because we might be retiring, we might be changing jobs, we might have just given birth to a new baby, etc., etc. I'm not talking about that. This is a common change we're all facing. And anger is one of the things that you will go through, because there is an emotional pattern, emotional path you will follow when you're faced with change, and that starts off with denial, and then, you know, anger, and then acceptance, and then your new norm. So the anger, I mean, the thing that gets up my nose, and I have to find ways every day to get myself to breathe and calm down and not allow it to affect me so badly, is the absolute rubbish that is posted on social media. And it looks so real. People, you know, for me, so one of the things I've done, for example, on Facebook is I don't follow political things anymore. I try and calm down. I've closed my Twitter account because I found that I myself just became a political activist, which is not who I am. So I make a point in trying to spread good things. And it's not about a false sense of positivity. It's really about connecting ourselves to each other using the platform of social media, but in truth, the reality, not the real. Check your facts first. There's a great website called Snopes.com that you can check facts against. And
what was that?
Snopes. Snopes. Snopes.com.
Oh, SNOPES.
Yes.com. You can put in on that website lions roaming the streets of Russia, which is one of the fake things going around the internet at the moment to keep people in their houses. It's just nonsense, you know. Dolphins swim in Venice canals. I mean,
I got caught in by that one. Totally sucked in.
It just is nonsense. What is good is when children in China are seeing a blue sky for the first time because the smog is cleared, because the cars have stopped.
Yeah.
You know, that makes my heart happy.
Yeah.
Elephants getting drunk in China is not true. It's
Really?
not true. It's not true. But
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm saying we need to become more mindful,
Oh,
checking what we spread on social media. Let's not give it energy. Let's actually give energy to things that are meaningful to the people that we are connected to through social
yeah,
media.
yeah,
Let's share good news stories. Let's fight media that always bring up the negative falsities of our society because they're money driven to sell their newspapers, and
yeah,
they appeal to that dark side of some of us that like a gory story.
yeah,
Let's actually find a good news story to share of
exactly.
somebody helping someone else, or some child see, if you understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Because through that and our connectedness, we will create our new norm that can be so much better than the past that we've been used to. And it lies in each and every one of our own hands to do that. I
Mm,
sound like I'm preaching here, and I don't mean to, but it lays heavy on my heart, and it's the thing I've tried to practice myself now,
mm,
because it's the way I've got over feeling angry.
mm. And it's
You
about
know,
creating the space to feel what it is that you want to be, is what you mentioned when we were talking.
yes. So quietly, so how do I do this? And it was one of the things we were talking about. When I came through this year of catastrophic change, and I woke up one morning and I went, I've got no work to go to. I have no purpose. Nobody needs me. I mean, I went into this woe is me place. It was my wake up call,
Mm,
universal wake up call. And then I realized that I had spent my entire career adding value to an organization or organizations, adding value to other people's lives. Now was my time to add value to
mm,
my life. And what I did was I made a list, like I always did, make a list of the things I needed to do, and then pick one that I could do that day. Even if it was just going for a walk along the beach at Bloberg,
absolutely.
or having a cup of coffee with a friend that I hadn't seen in face to face for who knows how long.
Mm,
One of the other things I discovered is how to be still, how to connect with me,
mm,
how to quieten my mind, how to stop my ego from talking in my ear,
mm,
um, and how to give myself the space to get to know the real me, the authentic
yeah,
self,
yeah,
uh, and get to know how being is more important than presenting yourself. Uh, that, the old Johari window thing, I'll only show you one corner of who I really am. Well,
yeah.
you need to sit and have a look at who you really are. And you can achieve this through meditation.
Mm.
And it's not difficult to do at all. There are
And
many,
sorry, carry
sorry,
on. I was
I
just going
said
to
there
say,
are,
you were going to say that there were some apps that you used
yes.
with your meditation.
Yes. So Insight Timer is a really great app. It's got a small subscription fee to it,
Mm,
and really well worth it,
mm,
because it helps you with guided meditations.
mm,
Calm is another app. Um, and I used these at first to help me learn to meditate. I've
mm,
continued using them because through Insight Time, I've connected to other people around the world. We all meditate together for a single cause, for example.
mm,
So we can use technology to connect and enjoy our connectedness at a level. And you were talking about this
mm.
earlier. In this time ahead, we're going to really be open to discovering new ways to connect with each other.
Absolutely.
And I think that's beautiful. I think what a great opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Mm.
I really appreciate you've given this this beautiful spiritual perspective on
Yeah.
when we feel like we're out of control, is that actually this most awesome opportunity for and challenge for us to take back our control. And we can
Yes.
do that through finding out what is going to be our new norm by working out, if everything happens for a reason, what is this reason for me? What is my purpose in life? How do I cope through this? I now know, for one, I'm going to be checking out that Snopes.com because I got sucked in by, I don't know how many. I was like, oh, isn't that cute? But, you know, in saying that, while it was maybe false, it did give me a feel-good factor. So that one was kind of cool. But I don't then want to go and talk about it and sound like it's credible when it's not. So I like that.
No, but Laura, I just want to say to you, you know, some people create memes to create a feel-good thing. And that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is spreading fake, absolutely nonsense. That's what you need to check. Yeah.
And that's good, because we've got some time on our hands now. So we can spend some time with our family, making it a family effort. Let's go and check out whether this is true. I like that.
Exactly.
You also mentioned, and we will need to wrap up soon, your daughter as a graphic designer. Has she got that out on Facebook, you know, the colouring in creativity tools that you mentioned?
Well, she did share it just because she'd done it for her children. And I saw that some of her friends said, oh, please send it to me. And some of her friends in the States, obviously she's created a PDF that they can download. So yes, she has got that.
Well, why don't
she's
you...
not doing it professionally, you know, and creating a big thing, and she'll kill me if I gave her way. I would rather ask her permission first and then let you know, and you can kind of
absolutely
take it if you want.
I mean, you totally buff it out. So I was like, can't hear, but can't hear. I'm just going to do it anyway. But no, what I'm saying is, please, if you have a chat with her and you feel like this would be something awesome for all of our kids, because I've got a child at home who needs to get off her device. So and there's probably a bunch of other parents out there. So I just want to invite you that if she would like to, you know, if she's got a page or something and she wants to get you to share it, then once I've posted up the video, then just in the comments, just put in the link to her. And if anybody's wanting to go there, might drive some traffic to her page as well, if that's what she's trying to do. But yeah, I could do with some creativity in my home. For sure.
Yeah, well, I'll let you have it. Don't worry.
No, thank you. One sentence as a takeaway for anybody watching.
So, you know, first of all, it's really about sending lots of love and light out to people who are really struggling in this time, who are less fortunate than some of us. To be calm, breathe, and just love your people and your tribe around you. You know, life is precious. So, you know, just love and light to everyone is my message.
I love that. Thank you so much for coming all the way from South Africa to chat with me. Basically, it's lovely. It feels like you're in my home. We're connected. That's amazing.
Well, lovely talking to you.
Yeah, same here, Sue. Now you go well and look after yourselves and your family, just like I wish to everybody else who's watching this, of course. And we're going to get through lockdown. It is not the end of the world. This is, in fact, this is where we're cocooning. You know, this is where we're really
beginning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beginning.
You know, and it's exciting if we choose to look at it like that.
Yeah.
So So thank you very much, Sue. We'll see you next time. See ya.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.